So I'm an author and illustrator, and I make books for kids of different ages. So from picture books, some middle grade, and I also have one book for adults. Um, and yeah, I am originally from Jerusalem in Israel. So I grew up there and I moved to the States for grad school with my husband. And yeah, I've been full-time author illustrator for about the past 5 years or so. That is the short version.
There is a lot to unpack, and I'm going to do my best to try and get to a little bit of everything. And we're certainly going to talk about Spectacular Sisters, which is available November 9th. So as esteemed audience is listening to this, I believe it should already be available. You can be picking up your copy right now. I had read that I want to talk about the work that you're doing as an artist, but I'm always curious about the journey to becoming an artist. Because I know that you've got an MFA from the School of Visual Arts in New York City, is that right?
Yes, that's right.
But then I'd also read that after you graduated college, you had done some stints in architecture, psychology, graphic design, a little bit of everything. So when was it that you were able to find your way toward being the artist that you are now?
Let's see. So as as a child and growing up, I always was drawing, painting, making art, making like little books. As a kid, I was just always like making up stories. And so it was something that I've always loved to do, but I think I had many interests. Like I just loved all kinds of things, and I was kind of encouraged to go study other things as well. I think like a lot of creative kids, are told like, oh, that's great. You can sort of do that as a passion or on the side. Why don't you go explore other things as well? So my undergrad, I actually did start studying architecture, but I realized pretty quickly that it was not for me. And then my undergrad is in psychology, and I did a lot of just like humanities and languages, Japanese, all kinds of things like that. And I actually thought for a while I was going to become a therapist, but yeah, I just realized that after some time doing that, I just really need to do something creative. That was just in me and calling me. So I studied graphic design. When I moved to New York, I went to study graphic design because that was sort of an easy way to get back into the creative fields for me, like to just, start working. I thought, okay, that's like a profession that I can do. So I pivoted, from psychology. I got an associate's degree in graphic design from Parsons, the New School of Design. And I worked as a designer for about 5 to 7 years. I don't even remember. And I actually still do some design. And I am so happy that I studied that because it really helped me. And it helps me now when I make books, like there's a lot of design involved. Also, like I'm involved in designing like both the interior and covers of my book. So that was like really great. But working as a designer, I actually worked briefly at a publishing house, which was a really interesting experience. And I think there really I started feeling like I want to be the content creator myself. So as much as I love designing other people's books, I was like, I want to do this. I think I can make a book too. I remember as a kid looking at picture books and feeling as a child like I can do this one day. I think that somewhere along the way I lost my confidence, and especially since I haven't been doing it professionally, it seemed it seemed kind of this like huge goal. And I mean it's like every book is like a huge undertaking, but yeah, so working at the publishing house, I realized that I really want to be doing the content. And so it took some time, but I built a portfolio. And for me, I sort of really felt like it would be very helpful to do an MFA in illustration to sort of really get into that field and turn it into a full-time profession. And yeah, and so that's what I did. I got into the MFA in New York, um and yeah, and I've been doing it since. And so I pivoted again from being a full-time graphic designer to being a full-time author and illustrator.